Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Michael Mastro. I'm with Transformational Vedic Astrology, and today we're going to look at the chart for Sushant Rajput, who recently passed away. May he rest in peace. It's been said that he committed suicide. So, rising star, very famous, good-looking actor, young. If you were to look to the eastern horizon when he was born, you would see the constellation associated with Scorpio rising at 4 degrees and 55 minutes. Any planet that's within 5 degrees, like Mercury, like Sun, like Venus, like Jupiter, like Moon, they have a lot of power in his chart, positive or negative, can go either way. Um, so what we want to do is look at how the planets are operating and when the planets are operating and what we could do to rectify the chart. So let's just look and see. First of all, Sage Parashar talked about the importance of the Multikona signs. So in other words, several of the planets rule two signs. Venus rules Taurus, and it also rules Libra, the seventh sign. So he said that in this case, that Venus took precedence and became the Multikona sign, more connected to Libra than it is to Taurus, and likewise with several of the other signs. So the Multikona signs are 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11. And so each one of these houses, or it's a square, it's a triangle, an X and a square. Each one of these spaces is to do with some aspect of his life. If you want to look at, his family life, you look at the 4th house. If you want to look at his career, you look at the 10th house, and the rulers of those houses. So wherever we see these Multikona signs, that's where he came to learn certain lessons. So let's look and see where all those Multikona signs are. So remember, I said 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11. So the first sign, Aries, ruled by Mars, is in the 6th house. 6th house has to do with conflict and also health and healing, and can be debts and bankruptcy and divorce. All of those things, fire, theft, and cheating, could be associated with this house. I think in his case, there was an inner conflict. The second Multikona sign is the 4th sign, which is Cancer, ruled by Moon. So came here to learn about his core beliefs about life and good fortune. Then the 5th sign is Leo, ruled by Sun. Sun came to learn about career and father. And then father's influence. And then the 6th sign is Virgo, in the house of income. So income, learning about friends and income, connections to friends. So he came from a very poor, small village and created quite a lot of income through his dancing and his acting and directing, or producing. Then the 7th sign is Venus. Venus is ruled by Libra. 7th sign is Libra, ruled by Venus. So Venus becomes, now any Multikona sign in the 6th, 8th, or the 12th is said to be malefic or can cause harm, can cause some challenges. These are the challenging houses. So Mars becomes challenging, Venus becomes challenging, and there's no Multikona sign here. So no issue there. But then Rahu and Ketu for every sign are challenging at times, cause some darkness. There are the ecliptic nodes of the moon. Then the next Multikona sign we find is Jupiter. Jupiter. So Sagittarius is the 9th sign, ruled by Jupiter. This is having to do with stability in relationships, wealth, and fame. Then the last multiconal sign is the 11th sign of Aquarius in the house of happiness, family, property. So those are the houses he's working on in this lifetime. So let's go through the planets, see how they're operating, and what we can do to improve the chart. So Sun is at 6 degrees, close to the most effective point. So has a lot of power in his chart, and it is associated. It's ruling the house of career. So it gives good career, and this is the house of communication, performing arts. So good career through dance, through acting. And then it is afflicted by Venus. Remember, Venus is malefic, and if it's close through aspect or conjunction within 5 degrees, it can cause some issues. So Venus is afflicting Sun, even though it's fairly strong in his chart, well placed, but it is afflicted by Venus. So Venus is separate. Losses and expenses. So weakening of Sun would mean not a great relationship with Dad, can be lower self-esteem, but also giving the acting, the career, the ability to separate himself from his personality to perform different roles in acting. So a lot of times the 8th and the 12th house give some abilities to an actor to take on different roles. So has some gift there. He also career is also he invested in artificial intelligence. I think he had 3 different companies. So that's interesting. So he, in a short, his career was cut short. So this is also that influence of Venus on career, losses and expenses to the career. So rise quickly, but then ended short. Then Moon is close to the most effective point, having some power. It's exalted. Gives a very strong, it's ruling the house of good fortune. Good fortune through relationships. Acting is all about who you know. And strong connection with mom. But when his mother died, it really was an emotional thing for him. Gives him good emotional abilities to portray in his acting roles. Gives emotional, believable emotions. So that gives him good credit there for his acting. But also can affect peace of mind. Can affect peace of mind. Here, just some small influence from Saturn there. Let's see what else. I think that's it. Okay. Mars is at 28 degrees, and it is in the 12th house, ruling the house of inner conflict in the house of endings. So endings came through this inner conflict. Mars gave him some abilities as an engineer, really into physics and astronomy. But also there's this conflict. One cause of death said that there was professional rivalry. So that has to do with Mars and competition. This is house of competition and service. So that could be that other people through nepotism or who they knew got the better parts, even though he might have had the better acting skills, and so that could have caused him to be have this inner conflict. So Mars is about accidents and injury, so injury to the self also. Mercury's at 29 degrees, gives income, ruling the house of income through communication abilities and wealth and fame, all that connected, but also that instability in the relationships. And then it's said to kind of make you self-critical. Can be that it's weak in old age. Any planet that's less than 5 degrees is said to be in young age, or more than 25 is in old age. So in this case, cannot protect or promote its own significations being intelligence, and then so can make you self-critical, and also not give you the idea that life is worth living, making bad decisions about maybe committing suicide. Jupiter is at 29 degrees. It's debilitated. It's afflicted by Mars, also in old age. So Jupiter is again the stability in the relationship. I had the one relationship with Ankita, lasted about 5 years, and then they broke up, and it was really devastating for him. And the relationship was a volatile one, apparently. So let's see here. And then also Venus, let's see. So Jupiter in old age also can limit the number of children. He had no children. Venus at 7 degrees, it's malefic. It is malefic, and it afflicts this house of success and self-expression, and it afflicts Sun, and then it also afflicts the house of good fortune, and the core belief system that life is worth living. So that, and then also this is the house. It rules the house of depression, feeling separate. So and then breakup of relationship. Probably gave him his dancing and good looks, ability to dance and good looks, but no wife. No wife, the relationship, the being in losses, expenses, ruling losses and expenses. Saturn is at 13 degrees. It's fairly strong. It is the house of happiness through home life and property and vehicles. So, and it's placed in the first house of life purpose. Now, I would say life purpose connection with Saturn. Saturn is charity, giving to charity. So he supported women entrepreneurs, and then also schools for literacy. He was a philanthropist. He was very disciplined and a hard worker, and is learning his roles, very, very impeccable about the roles. And but also Saturn can bring some fear. And he said to be collected a lot of older things. There's a video with him giving a tour of his house with some heavy bookcases in the Northeast, which could be blocking, the prosperous healing energy from the Northeast. And then the old things can have a lot of energy attached to them. So that created a feeling of heaviness in this home that he gave a tour of, his home. And then a lot of mirrors in the south and the west, which would be leaking energy. So I'm also a Vastu consultant. So if you want to get a Vastu, not only your planets affect you, but your Vastu affects you. So you can go to vastucreations.com to get a reading with remedies. Rahu and Ketu. So Rahu gives desire. Ketu here being here, giving that ability to separate himself, to be good in his acting roles, giving insights into being that separateness. But there's this balance between Rahu and Ketu always. And so inner conflict and outer, spiritual rejection, kind of, this is that balance that he needed to learn about, that inner conflict. And then a lot of conspiracy about how he died and all those things. Now, K2 tends to blur boundaries. It's smoke, and it can create some confusion about, having a boundary not to, take your own life. So some connection there. So let's go through the timing of events. His mom died in '02. That was a very major event, and he was very close to his mom. So even just before he died, he was posting on Instagram about his mom. And that was a Mars Venus period. So, Mars here, ending of life, Venus, ending of life. Venus is the women in your life, so that connection. And if we were looked more closely, I think Moon was probably going through his house of death-like experiences when she died. Um, then another major event was breaking up with Ankita in 2016. Rahu Venus, again, Rahu creating that inner conflict, separation, divorce, and Venus separation, ending of relationship. Then he committed suicide in a Rahu Moon period. So here we are right here. Again, Moon is mind and emotions, and Rahu would be, again, this inner struggle, inner conflict. So let's look at the actual transit chart at the time of death. So here we are, Sunday the 14th of 2000, June 20th, 14th of 2020. So what do we see? We see Rahu and Ketu almost on the most effective point of every house, the rising sign degree. 5 degrees are just, just very, very, very close. So big impact. Rahu going through the house of death-like experiences, afflicting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 endings, 6, 7, and loss of life. Then ending of a relationship with self. 8, 9, end of happiness and family. And then K2, so they're afflicting 6 out of his 12 houses, so causing a lot of stress. So again, K2 is here in the stability in the relationship. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, inner conflict. 6, 7, death-like experiences. 8, 9, end of career. So that, and then let's see what else we see. We see Venus afflicting Saturn. Saturn is a happiness. Venus, this is a house of depression. So giving stress to his longevity and his happiness and his home life. And Sun is right there too. Self-esteem is afflicted. Mars, Mercury, and Jupiter are very close there, affecting his judgment and his stability in relationship to himself. Mercury is almost fairly close to the most effective point as well, affecting judgment to make this kind of a decision to take your own life. So what could we do to support and improve this chart? So the malefic planets, we don't want to strengthen. We want to transform them through chants and charities. So in his case, we could, let's go back to the birth chart. So the malefics are Mars and Venus, Rahu, and Ketu. So Venus, you would help women. I think he was doing some of that with the women entrepreneurs. And then listening to Lakshmi chants on Fridays. And then with Mars, listening to Hanuman chants on Tuesdays and helping men that are like brothers. Rahu helping those who cannot help themselves. He was doing some charity, some philanthropy, so that was helping. And Ketu giving to spiritual organizations, listening to Ganesh chants on Thursday, and Rahu would be Shiva chants on Saturday. So those could be helpful in transforming the malefics. And then you want to strengthen his weak planets. So you could wear a blue sapphire, a green emerald, a ruby, yellow sapphire, a pearl, or wear a kavash that contains the Devata yantra for all of those planets, which is much safer and more effective and economical. So you can see kavashes on our website, vastucreations.com, prescribed personally after we look at your chart. And then, you could wear blue colors on Saturdays, green colors on Wednesdays, orange colors on Sundays, yellow colors on Thursdays, and white colors on Mondays. So those are the things that we could do to help the chart. So if you'd like to learn more about transformational Vedic astrology and get a reading, you can go to vastucreations with an s.com. If you would like to learn more about transformational Vedic astrology, as you can see, it's quite accurate. You can go to American Institute of Vastu.com, and there's a level 1 and a level 2 where you could get certified. So thank you for listening. My name again is Michael Mastro.